We are live on YouTube. Just a sec, you guys. We are live on Periscope. Hold on. Okay, perfect. And we are live on Instagram. And to everybody out there, hello, hola, konnichiwa, salam, ciao, namaste. Peace to all. This is the Pink Elf in the Room conversation special. And why is it a special, you ask? Because Sunday I had told you guys that we were going to have a Pink Elf in the Room conversation, and we never did. And that was my own fault because I'd been doing a lot of things and my body became exhausted. No excuse, so I still wanted to do a Pink Elf in the Room conversation for you guys. So we are doing it today, of course, on a Tuesday. But for you guys out there, what we'll be going into is simply the Matrix. We're gonna break down details of it and everything, and simply go over the systems that are put in place as sort of a cage within a cage within a cage, um, that advance you, evolve you to growing your freedom and being out of what you call the Matrix, but more importantly, understanding what the Matrix is truly meant for. That it's not meant that you have to constantly argue to the point or banter to the point or debate to the point that you of why you have to get out of the Matrix and so on and so forth, but understanding the Matrix, being able to know how to get in and out of the Matrix, and using the Matrix for what it is truly meant for instead of what you see coming before you and the constant struggles of whatever is going on with you. So I'm going to begin with simply this. You are in, of course, the Matrix. You're thinking, oh, of course I know that. Okay, I'm glad we got off to a good start. Yes, you are in the Matrix as right now, and one of the hardest parts for most people to understand about the Matrix is that it is a systematic thing. That when you are learning one part of the Matrix and you free yourself from that, it still gives you the ideology to keep using that same system in its own special way. When you are constantly formatted and stuck on one part of the Matrix, and when I say stuck in that sense, when your ideals are only stuck that this is genuinely it, this is the only thing, the everything, and that's it, you're lying, and so on and so forth, and you don't expand your mind, you are using a system as part of the Matrix. And I've done that before. That is why I tell people I am still constantly learning. And this is why I tell people too, I could make a flawed error. Something I might have said could be flawed. What I would tell people is don't always take everything that a person's saying as truth, but do your own research as well. And on top of that, if you feel it doesn't, it, if you feel it's flawed in a sense to you, then it might not work for you, whatever you're researching, whether it's growing yourself or anything under the sun. There are natural orders, period, that are a part of our world that can't be changed. But no matter what, there are other orders that are just simply constantly changing, but we have this one moral standard, and that's our biggest problem right now is we have morals that keep us stuck on one area, and we don't look to go above our morals and beyond and keep going. We only see one area. One area right there, and that's it. That's all we see. We can't comprehend going past that. And that's something we genuinely need to work on, in a sense. You don't have to, actually. You don't need to do anything. But for the people who desire to get out of what is going on in their life and they see the Matrix, or they're barely learning about the Matrix, or if you're first times knowing about the Matrix and you're interested in understanding it, you may want to understand both sides to that. The system itself and the system you put yourself in. Because even I grow through a system of this, and I am constantly learning. I keep myself in learning motion, because no matter what, there is more than you can imagine that you don't know. For example, when we talk about the entirety of the universe, there are things out there you may not understand. You see, for example, what the world tells you, which is the stars, which is different planets, different suns, different black holes. But many people don't pay attention to how these things work, um, how they are put into motion with everything. Do you even realize that there are other things out there, sort of like gas stations out there, other artwork, other gemstones and things in ways you can't even imagine? Do you understand that those things are out there in space? That they're constantly just throughout there, but you're being told, due to what the world has told you, that is your history, or what is understood in this world, that that's it. That's the only thing that's out there. There's nothing else out there, just planets, black holes, suns, and this and that. There can't possibly be anything else out there. But that is a flawed statement, because of the fact that we're still only using our, as I would say, tyrannistic ideology. We're not using beyond ideology to understand that there's much more than meets the eye. We understand that perhaps there are different abilities that we as humans have to the surface, but we don't understand how to use certain parts of ourselves, such as our third eye, our own psychic energy, if not more, to push forward who we truly are as a being. We don't truly understand those bits and pieces of who we truly are. So we grow past that, thinking that things are okay with that. That it's okay to just believe in what we believe in. Even our own history, we don't fully understand that there's much more than meets the eye of our own history. That who you are is much more than your history. You are much more than a body. You are a soul who's creating an experience, and you are making choices in your abilities to become something more or become something less. That is what you're choosing in each moment. And in the moment we expand upon that believing, either more and more of ourselves or less and less, we allow ourselves to believe in what is called the ego, because of the experience of we've forgotten. So how do we exactly forget these things? You forget because of the fact of, you're forgetting simply for the fact that this is the name of the game. To forget in order to remember again. And some people might think, well, why would I want to do all that? Why would I care for any of those things? Why would I do that at all? You would do that simply so you can enjoy something, perhaps something you enjoyed from another experience. You've done this over and over before. Everything that has already happened before. No matter what you what the outcome is, what the issue is, or whatnot. All this has already happened. You've already done this. So it's a choice of what are you going to create now? Are you going to still believe in being upset, still believe in being angry about what has happened in the very moment of all the issues in your life, or are you going to create something new in a factor of growing yourself and loving yourself and knowing who you truly are? That's a choice you have to be willing to make for yourself. And many of us aren't willing to make that because, as I said last week, I believe, not the weekend that just happened, but last weekend was the fact that we see it as too much. It's too much to understand who we are. It's too much to understand our history. It's too much to understand our evolution. It's too much. It's too scary. It's too darkening or depressing to us in some ways. Because some of us may feel we are too small in this world. Some of us will feel that it's just too much responsibility and don't believe that to be our own because of what we see we have, the responsibilities of what we have right now. It's too much to deal with. So, we're constantly in motion believing that in the fantasy of things instead of seeing past the fantasy and seeing more into the loving kindness of who we truly are. It is a difficult task. This is why when you are in the matrix, you have to be willing to take little doses at a time of this, little by little. You can't just, for some people, yeah, such as myself, we could take it in and we understand everything, or we take it, we take the whole plate of whatever we've gotten and we grab little pieces and put them all together until we get to where we need to go. For some, they need actual little tiny doses of this here and there because of how terrifying to some people, or for even some people it'll freak you out knowing what you don't know, because what terrifies most of us is knowing the unknown or not knowing the unknown. When I say that knowing the unknown, it terrifies us to know it because we're right there in that moment. And we're seeing this information right before us. It terrifies us to not know it because we don't know once we know what we know. This is why I constantly tell people what you don't know is what you don't know, and what you don't know can kill you, literally. Because if you don't understand it, you put yourself kind of like a person with a wrap on their eyes driving in ongoing traffic or ongoing traffic on the freeway. You are literally blinded to this, and it's like showing you, well, that's, oh, by the way, you're here, and you freak out not knowing what's going on and whatnot. And this is why you must be constant and consistent in your own research and understanding of self, because loving who you are, working towards who you are, growing who you are is vitally important. It starts with you. So when you are going through systems, you may, for example, in my own experience, where I had learned about different cults and stuff, and I didn't understand those things, and it had freaked me out at one point because I didn't know. And as time progressed, I was learning more and more about the illusion of that, the illusion of the energy that you're using on this planet. And when I say the illusion of the energy, because energy can't be killed nor destroyed in a sense, it's only energy, it's there. It's the fact that you are using this energy to create an experience that has created an illusion. You are now being the magician who has the hat and somehow can't seem to grab the rabbit out of the hat because you seem to forgot your trick. You've you've created that. No one else has. You've created a trick of which you believe to be an illusion of your own doing. All of us are at part for this illusion. All of us. You being at part for that illusion, it's now a choice to remember or not. That is the question. To be or not to be. That is the question you should be asking yourself. Will you be the person who will remember and get past the matrix? Or will you be the one to still allow such hatred, such cruelty, such frustration to influence your world? You are influenced by the people around you. And as the saying goes, misery loves company. You put that in your life if you choose. To have people who go party, drink, and smoke all day. They don't really care to do anything. They just want to have fun, go out all the time, and everything. That will be the influence of the matrix you've created. And if you are still at that point where you're like, I don't get why I'm not getting to where I desire to go, that is where you placed yourself. That was a choice on top of that. You have control of that. Yes, there are systems that are chained in, that especially systems that were created, but you are putting yourself in that system when you allow yourself to be around such things. When you wish to change that, however, it takes time, especially when you've been around that a lot. If you've been around a lot of people who when you have dreams and aspirations and you have desires to create in your life, and then all of a sudden people think, oh, you can't do that and this and that, like, I don't, you know how much money it's going to be in this and that, and I don't want to help you, I don't want to be a part of it. It's because of what's being influenced. When you see that within yourself, they don't see that. So if you're around a group like that, you might want to change the group you're around. Change the group to create a better group of where you're around. It's all a choice as of now to create a group of people you wish to be with that can grow. And even if that group, again, you will constantly be growing, so that you might outgrow that group and go to a different group, or you might do something else with your life to understand yourself further, because there have been people in my life that have taught me many things, but as time progressed, my understanding advanced further and further, knowing that, well, you say that, but that doesn't make sense to unity. Like, for instance, I had someone who was telling me how there were certain species that are harmful, they're horrible, and this and that. I had to realize was the fact that if we are one, that means those species are one with me. If those species are one with me, whatever they're doing is under the influence of an illusion. And whatever illusion is going on in this world through that just simply means that they too are trying to understand themselves. And I have more sympathy for that because I'm still understanding more of what unity is, of what more of oneness is, of how important these areas of who I am are. the importance of loving all things because all things are you. And when you see that and bypass the matrix of what's going on, you will see and realize that all this is connected to you. And you can create something amazing out of that connection. And remembering the gods, the goddesses, and creators within who you are. We're going to make a part 2 to this. But I wanted to thank you guys again. I do apologize for the late conversation, but if you guys would like to watch more, you can always watch on YouTube and leave comments because I'd love to hear your thoughts. And just realize how beautiful, magnificent, amazing, and divine you all are as the gods, the goddesses, and creators within. Have a good morning, a great afternoon, and a fantastic evening. Namaste.